Hello everybody. Today we are going to discuss about what is the usage of command line arguments. In the previous class we have discussed about what is the string class, what are the constructors of string class, and what are the methods of string class. Okay, so today we discuss about what are command line arguments. So why we use command line arguments? We have seen in main method. Okay, so how to pass information into a program when you run it. Suppose if we want to pass information to the program, then we need command line arguments. Okay, so how to pass information to the program is accomplished by passing command line arguments to main method, where we will pass to the main method. Okay, so a command line argument is the information that directly follows the program's name on the command line when it is executed. So how we should pass arguments means, after the we have to mention the program name, and after that we have to give the arguments we want to pass to the program. That is called command line arguments. Yeah. So to access command line arguments inside a Java program is quite easy. They are stored as strings in the string array passed to the main. Okay, so how we write main method? Public static void main string arguments array. So which is stored as a, whatever we pass arguments to the main method, the arguments are stored as a strings. That means string array. Okay, so for example, the following program displays all of the command line arguments that is called with. We'll see the program. See here, there is a command line class. See here, in the main method we have passed arguments, okay, as string array. Okay, it is of type string. We pass the arguments as strings. So for example, for int I is equal to 0, I less than arguments dot length I plus plus. So what we are going to do is, whatever we pass arguments to the main method, we are printing one by one. Okay, until the last argument. Okay, so system.out.println arguments plus I. Okay, what we are printing? Arguments of I. So arguments of 0, arguments of 1, arguments of 2, like first element in string array, second element in string array, third element in string array, so on. How many elements it has? So those many elements we print. Yeah, so if we execute that program, what we have to give? Yeah. So if we give what we have seen in the previous slides, like how to pass arguments to the main program, that is Java, while you are running the Java program, Java, what is the class name? What is the program name? Command line is the class file, command line, and this is a test 100 minus 1 is your command line arguments. So these are all stored as a string array. So how many elements are there here? This is a test 100 minus 1. So total 6 elements are there in a string array. So in the previous program, what is written there? We are using a for loop to print all of the elements in string array. That means arguments dot length is 6. So I is equal to 0, I less than 6, I plus plus. So it will print the 0th element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total 6 element it's going to print. So remember how we are passing command line arguments to the program is the code, the syntax is Java, that is the interpreter Java, command line is your class name. After compilation we are now running the program. Java command line, this is a test 100 minus 1. This is the command line arguments. These are arguments we are passing to the program. Okay, so what is the output? You will see now. Arguments of 0 is this. Arguments of 1, second element is. Arguments of 2, third element is A. Fourth element is fourth element is 100. Fifth element is minus 1. 0 to 5. Total 6 arguments are there in whatever we are giving on the command line. These are called command line arguments. So all command line arguments are passed as strings. You must convert it into desired format using wrapper classes. So other than if we pass string at command line is fine. But if we want some other data type, we need to convert into string type. For that we have to use wrapper classes. Yeah, so usage of command line arguments that needs conversion. So we will see where we need to convert the arguments. Okay, if we pass string arguments, no need to convert because it takes string arguments only, main method. Okay, no need to convert. But if we pass other data types like int, float, double or whatever other data types other than string, we need to convert. See, we'll see now. See, in the main method there is int A, int B. Okay, so both integers A, B, even C is also an integer. So what are we doing now? We are passing it. Okay, integer dot parse int arguments of 0. Okay, that is stored as A. If we integer dot parse int, whatever we pass as the first element, okay, that is converted, that is assigned to A. So arguments 1 is assigned to B. Argument C is equal to A plus B. Okay, see now first if you see the output you will know better. Suppose, see here we are passing 10 and 20. Okay, we are passing. Actually what you need to do, you have to pass only strings because it is string array. But there are chances that we also want to pass arguments as some other data types. So what we have to do now? Now we are, see, at runtime we are giving Java. Command line is the class name. What are the parameters you are passing? Arguments you are passing? 10, 20. So arguments of 0 is 10, arguments of 1 is 20. So 10 and 20 should be converted to string. Okay. So that is what we are written here, parse int. Okay, arguments of 0, argument of 1. Okay. So that is how system.out.println sum of A plus B is C. Okay, C, in the C variable A plus B are stored. Okay, without conversion, if you just say int A, int B, then it will not compile properly. It will give you error message. It will not run the program. It will not execute properly. So what is the output you will get? 10 and 20, that is 30. So yeah, there is some there are some differences between command line arguments in C and Java. We have seen C also. Okay, so if we compare both C and Java, we'll see now what are the number of arguments means. In C, one less than the actual number. In Java, equal to the actual number. Okay, the number of arguments we pass is there one less than actual number, but here everything we count it as argument. Okay, equal to the actual number. Type of arguments we pass in C is character array. In Java is string. Okay, so that is about your command line arguments. So later we move on to the topic of inheritance. Okay, so far we have discussed command line arguments. The arguments which are passed to the main program or the program is are called command line arguments. Okay, so after that we are now discussing about inheritance. Okay, what are the basics of inheritance, visibility modifiers, we will see in the coming topics. Inheritance. Okay, so far we have not seen what is inheritance because C doesn't support inheritance. Okay, C++ support inheritance, but in C the C language does not support inheritance. Okay, so what is inheritance? Inheritance is process by which one class gets the properties from an existing class. Okay, so what is inheritance? Means one class get the properties from another class. It inherits the properties from another existing class. So object-oriented programming allows classes to inherit commonly used state and behavior from other classes. So what is the purpose of inheritance is that, so if there are any like properties or the methods are same among certain classes, so what we'll do is we'll inherit from other classes rather than creating new same properties and methods. Okay, so commonly used state and behavior from other classes we inherit. Commonly used state is every object has a state. Behavior is method. Okay, what are the common methods that are there we inherit from other classes. So inheritance is one of the principles of object oriented programming. We have seen what are the main features of object oriented programming. So inheritance is one of those. Okay, so with inheritance we have so many advantages also. So we will discuss when we move on into the topics. So what are the benefit of inheritance is the main advantage is software reuse. Okay, once the already created the properties or methods related to particular class, so if you want to use those in our class, so no need to write the code again. So it saves a lot of time, memory. Okay, so these are the advantages. So these are the main advantages of inheritance. Okay, that means reusability of the code. We can use the code again and again wherever it is required. So inheritance allows a software developer to derive a new class from an existing one. So we are deriving from another class. So the existing class is called the parent class or superclass. So already existing class is called parent or superclass. So the new class derived from the existing class is called child class or subclass. Okay, so the derived class is called child class or subclass. So from where we are inheriting is, that is existing class. From existing class we deriving the new class. So that existing class is called parent class or superclass. So it creates is a relationship. Okay, so the subclass is a more specific version of the original. So whatever we want to inherit properties or methods from the superclass or existing class will inherit into derived class, and also more specific to that particular class properties methods also we can add. Okay, so in Java, a class that is inheriting is called superclass. A class that is inherited is called subclass. So subclass is a specialized version of the superclass. So in superclass, all common methods are shared, but in subclass that is specialized version. Subclass inherit all instance variables and methods defined by superclass and can have its own elements. So as I told you, the derived class inherits all the variables, methods defined by superclass, as well as it also extends the class. That means it has its own elements. So in Java, one direct superclass and each superclass has the potential for an unlimited number of subclasses. So there is no limit for one parent class become, derived into child class, and child class again derived into another child. So that becomes parent, then child class, then child, like that. There is the hierarchy is goes on. There is no restriction for any number of subclasses created. Yeah, so if we see example, book example, as we know all about books. Okay, so book, if you take a class book, there are two types: dictionary. Even dictionary is a book, novel is also a book. And yeah, in dictionary, yeah, so in novel there are, two types, maybe three types, or so many types of novels, like mystery novels, romance novels, or some scientific novels, science, about science. Okay, so like that the hierarchy is goes on. So here the book is the existing class, the dictionary and novel are the subclasses of book, and mystery and romance are the subclasses of novel. Okay, so novel, mystery is also a novel, romance type is book is also a novel, and dictionary and novel both are books. Okay, so is a relationship it shares. Okay, book is the existing class, dictionary and novel are the subclasses, and again mystery and romance are the subclasses of novel. So now mystery and romance novels are becomes more specific to its own, like mystery and romantic novels. Okay, so book is a broad term, again that is divided into two: dictionary, novel. Then the broadness is reduced, then novel to mystery and romantic novels. Okay, so here it becomes even more specific, features are added to each class. So if you take a bicycle, okay, so bicycle has, what are the properties it has? Like it has a handle, it has seat, it has two wheels. Okay, so there are other types of bicycles we see now: mountain bike, road bike, tandem bike. Okay, so these three also bicycles. Okay, mountain bike is also a bicycle, road bike is also a bicycle, tandem bike is also a bicycle. So these three classes share the properties of bicycle, as well as it has its own properties. Mountain bike has its own properties, road bike is its own properties, tandem bike has its own properties. So here, what is the superclass here? Bicycle is the superclass. What are the derived classes or subclasses? Mountain bike, road bike, tandem bike. These are the subclasses. Yeah, so here if you see an object and that is divided into class A, class B. Class A is categorized into B and C, and D is into E. So here what are the superclasses? Superclasses are object is a superclass, class A is a superclass, class D is a superclass. So as I told you, it goes on, one child becomes parent and another, like that the hierarchy goes on. What are the subclasses here? Class B, class A, class B, class C, class D. Okay? Yeah. Class C, class D, class E. All are subclasses. Those subclasses become again parent classes. Those parent classes here are object, class A, class D. Okay? So, to inherit a class from another class, we use the keyword extends. So, we are now coming into the programming part of implementing inheritance. So, here we use the word extends. Okay. So, class, subclass name, extends, superclass name. Okay. Then you can write the code. So, if a class B is inherited from class A, means class A is your subclass, class B is the new derived class. So, what we will write? We will write the syntax as class B extends A. That means A inherits B. That means here superclass is A and subclass is B. So, if you take the bicycle example, using the above syntax, we can write the statement like this. We can create the one of the derived class like this. Mountain bike is the derived class that extends bicycle. Means bicycle has the common features that are defined in bicycle. So mountain bike class wants to share those details like properties and methods. So how we write? How we create the mountain bike class? Class mountain bike extends bicycle. So what are the new methods and fields defining a mountain bike? We'll go in the braces. Okay. For example. Yeah. So if you see one class, that is class A, there are two instance variable and there is a method show ig. What it does? It prints I and J. Okay. So this is your class A. So now we are extending, A is inherits now. Okay. Into B. Okay. Class B extends A. That means we are creating class B from superclass A. So here it's on B's own code we are writing now. So int K, void show K. What it will print? K. So K is the private, to class B. Those are its own variables, its own methods, its own properties, class B's properties. Okay. So next what we are doing is void sum. Okay. If we want to make sum, we also need ij from base class and k from this class. Okay. So what it will print? I plus j plus k. So class B gets I and j from class A. We didn't mention anywhere, but we are just saying it is extending from A. That means class B is inheriting from class A. It shares the properties with A. So no need to write again that code. Already existing code, we need it here. So we just say it extends A so that it gets all the properties of class A. So what it will print now? It gets the I and j from class A and k from class B, and it prints the I plus j plus k. So in main method, how we implement that? In main method, we create two objects. One is of class A, one is of class B. Okay. Actually, no need to create a class A object. Okay. If we can create B class object B, sub object is equal to new of B. Okay. So super object I is equal to 10, super object j is equal to 20. Superclass may be used by itself. Super object I is equal to 10, super object j is equal, we are just here initializing the values of class A super. Okay, I value is 10, j value is 20. So system.out.println contents of super ob, what it will print? Show dot ij means 10 and 20. Okay, we are not now coming to derived class yet. We are only initializing class A's I and j 10 20, and we are now calling show ij method that will print I and j values. Okay. Now we are now creating sub another object like subclass object I 7 j 8, and now k is equal to 9. So we are printing contents of sub object. See here, we are calling again show ij method. Show ij method is derived from class A. Okay. So what it will print? I value, j value. Okay. Sub oj subject, sub class object dot show k. What it will print? K value 9. It shows 9. So show ij means I is equal to 7, j is equal to 8. Show k means k is equal to 9. So sum of I and j and k in sub object is sub object dot sum. That means it prints 7 plus 8 plus 9. Okay. See here, superclass objects are 10 and 20. Subclass object we have initialized I to A, j to 8, k to 9. So what is the sum? 7 plus 8 plus 9, 15 plus 9, 24. Okay. So k is in derived class I and j, values are taken from base class. Yeah. So we'll see some inheritance details. An instance of a child class does not rely on an instance of a parent class. Okay. An instance of a child class does not rely on a instance of a parent class. Okay. So hence we could create a dictionary object without having to create a book object first. Okay. So in the previous example we have seen book is the parent. Next dictionary and novel are subclasses. So here book is superclass and dictionary is base derived class. So what we are saying here is we could create a subclass without having to create a base class first. Inheritance is a one-way street. Suppose the book class cannot use variables and methods declared explicitly in the dictionary class. It's not a two-way. Okay, only the derived class can access base class objects and properties, but base class cannot access derived class properties. Okay, that is one way, not two way. Yeah, we'll see what are the visibility modifiers. So visibility modifiers determine which class members are inherited and which are not. Okay, the visibility means which class members are inherited, which are not, based on the keyword for visibility modifiers. Okay, it depends on whether it is if the keyword public is used or private is used or protected used. Depending upon the keyword for visibility modifiers determines which class members are inherited and which are not. So public modifier, what it does, variables and methods declared with public visibility are inherited. There is no restriction. All the properties of base class are inherited if the visibility qualifier is public. but public variables violate the principle of encapsulation. So we have seen the one of the features of object oriented is encapsulation. That means binding. Encapsulation means binding, and also it provides the security. But if you say public means it has to share with other classes, so that violates the principle of encapsulation. Private modifier, what it does, variables and methods declared with private visibility are not inherited. Okay, so we have discussed that base class inherits into derived class, but there are some restrictions. There are some visibility modifiers that restricts this inheritance process. Okay, so if you declare private in base class, so those variables or methods which are declared as private cannot be inherited. So private modifiers enforces strictly the principle of encapsulation. So if you use the private keyword, it strictly restricts the data to share to other classes. That means it provides the full security of data. And protected modifier is what is protected means, protected modifier allows a member of a base class to be inherited into a child. Okay, so protected also it allows a member of a base class to be inherited into a child. So here protected visibility provides more encapsulation than public visibility does. That means protected, if we say protected means those members are inherited into a child, not other than child. Okay, so the protected modifier is in between private and public. Private, it will not be if you declare private keyword, the base class members are not inherited into any class. If you say public, that all the members of base class are inherited into other classes. And if you say protected, only the child class will share the properties of base class. So in that means we can say more encapsulation than public. In public visibility, because there is no restriction, it is public, means the security of data is, it's not there. In protected, at least somewhat encapsulation feature is like there is a protection to the data. The best possible encapsulation that permits inheritance. So protected keyword, if you use protected just before the class, that means that class can share to only its child. Okay, so this is somewhat better than private or public. Okay, this gives moderate protection to the data. Okay, so these are the three visibility modifiers we have seen in Java. Okay, in the inheritance. Okay, so yeah, so what are the modifiers we have seen? Private, public, protected. Okay, so here we'll see one more example. The book example. Book is the base class and dictionary, novel are the derived classes, and mystery, romance are the derived classes of novel. So if we write a program, what we'll do now here is book is the base class. Here we have one integer variable, that is instance variable, pages is equal to 1500. So any book will have pages. Okay, that is the common property shared among its derived classes. And there is one method, that is message, that prints number of pages. And if you see the dictionary class, it extends from book Okay, so we are creating now dictionary. What it has? Definitions. Okay, so insert definitions, we have initialized it to 52,500. So along with the definitions, it also shares the property book pages. Okay, so that is we have written in book class. Here we have a definitions message. Okay, what it will print? Number of definitions and number of pages. Okay, that is about the example we have seen. One we have now we have seen one base class and one derived class. That means book is the base class and dictionary is the derived class. Okay, so now dictionary, what in the dictionary class what we are doing, we are printing number of definitions. Definitions come from the dictionary class, but definitions per page, okay, in the, see here, pages comes from base class. Okay, that means dictionary is accessing the pages variable. Okay, so that is how we'll print that message, like definitions per page. Okay, so that is the simple example. We'll see more into inheritance in next coming classes. Okay, so that is all for today's class. We'll see some of other features about inheritance. Okay, we'll see some more detail. Okay, that's all for now. Okay.